Beloved child of God, listen. If you're watching this right now, it's not random. You didn't just click this video, you were led here, because deep down something in you knows. God is shifting things. He's been whispering in your spirit, nudging you, stirring that restlessness inside of you, and you can feel it. You just don't know what it means yet. This video is for that moment, that in-between season, the space where you're not where you were, but you're not yet where you're going, and you're asking God, what are you doing? Why do I feel this pull? Why does everything around me seem to be changing at once? Today we're going to talk about it. God revealing your next move. Not theory, not feel-good quotes. I'm talking about real clarity, real strategy, real alignment with what heaven is actually doing in your life right now. So before we dive in, I want you to do two things. Not for me, but for you. Number one, hit that subscribe button to Daily Motivation Prayers, if you haven't already, because what we do here every week is deeper than content. It's transformation. We talk about healing, love, purpose, faith, and growth in a way that hits the soul. If you're serious about becoming who God called you to be, you belong here. And number two, if this message hits you, if it speaks to that quiet part of you that's been waiting for confirmation, I want you to drop a super thanks down below. Not as a donation, but as a declaration, a way of saying I'm in alignment with what God is doing. Because when you sow into revelation, you reap transformation. That's the kind of soil this channel is. Stay with me till the end, because by the time we finish, you're going to see things differently. You're going to understand the season you're in, why things had to shift, and how to move forward with power and peace. God is revealing your next move, and you're about to see exactly what that looks like. Let's get into it. Number one, God is separating you so He can strengthen you. You keep wondering why people have fallen away, why old circles don't feel the same, why certain relationships suddenly feel heavy or confusing. It's because God is separating you so He can strengthen you. You've been asking for clarity, but clarity often comes through separation. When God starts revealing your next move, He first clears the noise around you. He starts removing distractions. He starts exposing what drains your peace. He lets distance happen with people you thought were forever, because He knows you can't take everyone into the next season. This is not rejection, it's redirection. The separation you feel is not punishment, it's protection. It's God saying, I need your attention. Because when you're surrounded by voices that don't align with your purpose, you start doubting what God already confirmed. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is losing what's familiar, but the truth is, familiarity can become a cage. And right now, God is breaking you out of cages. You didn't even realize you were in cages made of comfort, cages made of fear, cages made of wanting to be understood by people who were never meant to understand you. He's saying, I love you too much to let you shrink just to fit where you used to belong. I'm calling you higher and higher. Always requires letting go. When you look at your life and see everything shifting, don't assume something's wrong. It's evidence that something new is being built. God is rearranging your environment to match the version of you. He's raising up the version that walks in authority, the version that no longer begs for love, but carries love, the version that doesn't chase validation, but moves from identity. He's isolating you, not to break you, but to build you, because in stillness you hear Him clearer. In quiet, you see His hand stronger. When He removes what's unnecessary, it's never loss. It's alignment. If you've been feeling alone lately, remember this. Even Jesus was led into the wilderness before the work began. That season wasn't abandonment, it was preparation. God is revealing your next move, but He's also preparing the vessel you. So if things are shifting, if you feel like everything's been stripped away, don't panic. You're in divine training. You're being strengthened for what's coming next. This is your moment to stop fighting the separation and start trusting the strategy. Because what feels like an ending is actually the start of your elevation. Let God finish what he started. He's not just removing, he's refining. He's getting you ready to stand in rooms your old self couldn't survive in. You're not losing. People, you're gaining clarity. You're not falling apart. You're being formed. And when the forming is complete, you'll thank him for every door that closed because it cleared the path for the one he opened just for you. Number 2, God is testing your trust before he releases the next step, right? Now, some of you are in a season where God feels quiet. You're praying, you're doing the right things, but it seems like heaven went silent and you're wondering if you missed something. You didn't. You're in a divine test of trust. God isn't punishing you. He's proving what's inside of you. Before he reveals the next move, he checks the foundation you're standing on. Because if your faith only works, when you can see the plan, it's not faith, it's comfort. And God is growing you beyond comfort. He's teaching you to trust him when there's no map, no confirmation, no visible progress. This is where real strength is built. This is where believers turn into warriors. You asked God for elevation. You asked for purpose. You asked for more, but you can't hold more without stronger trust. So he leads you into seasons where all you can do is lean on his word. No evidence, no guarantee, just his promise. The reason he's quiet is not because he's absent. It's because he's watching how you handle silence. Do you still worship when it's not working? Do you still move in faith when the outcome isn't clear? Do you still speak life when everything around you looks dead? This is where God separates those who believe in him from those who only believe in what he gives. Trust is not built in blessings, it's built in waiting, and waiting is not wasted when you understand. It's God shaping your response. If you're in a holding pattern right now, hear this. You're not stuck, you're being studied by heaven. God is observing how you handle what feels unfair, because how you handle delay determines if you're ready for destiny. Sometimes he'll close doors you thought were yours just to see if you'll still choose faith over frustration. He'll withhold answers just long enough to prove that your worship isn't conditional. He'll strip away control so you can learn that obedience is better than understanding. This is where trust becomes your anchor, because faith that only works when life is easy is not faith, it's emotion. God is maturing you, and maturity means trusting even when you don't understand why. This test is necessary because the next move requires spiritual stability. What's coming will demand deeper faith. If you can't trust God in the unknown, you won't be able to carry the weight of what's next. So right now, instead of asking when, ask what. What is God teaching me in this silence? What is he strengthening in me through this stillness? What in me needs to die so that faith can rise? When you can say, God, I trust you even when I don't get it, that's when heaven opens. That's when revelation comes. That's when he whispers the next instruction. Because you've proven you can be trusted with it. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. And when this season ends, you'll realize the silence wasn't empty. It was sacred. It was the sound of God shaping your next move. Number 3, God is rebuilding your identity. Before he reveals your assignment, you've been praying for direction. You've been asking God for your next move. But what if God is saying, first, I need to remind you who you are? So many of us want instructions. Without identity, we want the plan, but we haven't yet embraced the person God says we are. And God knows, if he gave you the assignment before you believed in your identity, you'd sabotage the calling, trying to prove what he already settled, right? Now he's rebuilding how you see yourself, because your next move isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more. You can't carry new purpose with old labels. You can't step into destiny still wearing the names that pain gave you. This is why God allowed some relationships to fail. This is why certain people stopped validating you. He needed you to stop drawing your worth from who left and start drawing it from who stays. He's been stripping away false definitions, the ones that told you you're not enough, the ones that said you're too broken, too late, too different. He's rebuilding the version of you that sees through his eyes, not your wounds. The truth is, God will let life expose every identity that was built on insecurity because he can't bless who you pretend to be. He's calling out the real you, the healed you, the confident you, the one that doesn't need attention to feel valuable, the one that doesn't chase what they've outgrown just to feel safe. This is not just emotional healing, it's spiritual reprogramming. He's teaching you to stop attaching your worth to performance, stop basing your value on results, stop letting rejection define your reflection. He's saying, before I show you the next move, I need you to see yourself through resurrection eyes, not as the one who failed, but as the one I redeemed, not as the one who's behind, but as the one I'm about to accelerate. When you see yourself correctly, you stop settling for survival and start moving in purpose. Some of you have been confusing waiting with wasting, but waiting is where God restores your confidence. He's reminding you that your value was never lost. It was just buried under disappointment. And now he's unearthing it layer by layer. This process hurts because identity work always does. But every piece of pain he touches is a piece of purpose being revealed. He's not punishing you, he's restoring your reflection, because the clearer your identity becomes, the clearer his instructions will sound. When you know who you are, you stop chasing clarity out of fear. You start receiving direction out of trust. You stop saying, God, give me a sign, and start saying, God, thank you for shaping me to handle what's next. God is revealing your next move, but before he releases the blueprint, he's making sure the builder, your soul, is secure. Because identity is the foundation of every move he makes through you. And if the foundation is solid, no storm, no rejection, no delay can shake you. So right now, let him rebuild you. Let him redefine you. Let him remind you you're not too late. You're right on time. And this time, you'll step into your assignment, knowing exactly who you are and who sent you. Number 4, God is aligning your environment with your purpose. Every destiny has a design, and before God moves you into the next level, he aligns everything around you to fit the purpose inside you. That's why lately, things that once felt comfortable now feel heavy. Why spaces that used to feed you now drain you. Because God is shifting the atmosphere to match your anointing. You've outgrown what once sustained you. The conversations don't hit the same. The circles that once made sense now feel shallow. It's not arrogance, it's evolution. God is aligning your environment to the frequency of your calling. He knows your spirit can't thrive in environments built on confusion. He knows you can't hear his voice clearly in places filled with chaos. So he starts adjusting everything, your friendships, your habits, your surroundings, until your external life starts mirroring your internal growth. That's why people leave. That's why opportunities fall through. That's why doors close without warning. It's not sabotage, it's synchronization. He's syncing your space with your spirit. When you start moving toward purpose, heaven rearranges everything connected to you. Some of you are wondering why certain friendships suddenly feel distant. It's because your spirit is no longer resonating with what keeps them comfortable. You're shifting and they're staying. And that tension is divine. It's God saying, stop shrinking to fit where you no longer belong. He's also adjusting your mindset about provision. You've been depending on what used to provide, but God is trying to introduce you to new streams. He's showing you that the same source that sustained you last season may not be the one he uses now. He's teaching you flexibility because destiny requires adaptability. When God aligns your environment, he's not just changing what's around you, he's preparing who's around you. The next move will need people who carry peace, not pressure. People who understand covenant, not convenience. People who don't just cheer for your progress, but pray for your purpose. You'll notice God will start sending voices that confirm what he's been whispering to you privately. Mentors, supporters. Partners who match your maturity. They won't compete with your calling. they'll complement it, because when God aligns the right people around you, the wrong ones start fading without your effort. This alignment process can feel lonely because it breaks comfort, but loneliness is not the absence of people. It's the presence of transformation. You're becoming someone your old environment can't contain. And that's the point. God is clearing the clutter so your calling can breathe. So don't fight what's falling off. Don't grieve what God has already replaced. Don't chase what He's cutting away. He's not taking things to hurt you. He's taking things to help you. Your environment is being tailored to your next mission. The energy around you is being recalibrated to your new level. Everything is shifting because heaven is preparing the stage for your next move. God doesn't send purpose into disorder. He builds the order first, then releases the assignment. So if your world feels like it's rearranging, it's because He's aligning it. And when the alignment is complete, you'll walk into rooms that feel like confirmation. Everything will start clicking because the space around you will finally match the purpose within you. And number 5, God is teaching you to move by faith, not by feelings. This is where many of us get stuck because we think we need to feel ready before we move. We wait for peace to feel perfect before we take the step. But the truth is, peace doesn't always show up before obedience. It shows up after it. God is teaching you that your next move is not about what you feel. It's about what you know. Feelings are temporary. Faith is eternal. Feelings shift with the weather, with the crowd, with the moment. But faith stays rooted in what God said, even when nothing looks like it's working. You can't live your life waiting for everything to feel easy before you obey. Because faith is uncomfortable. Faith walks you through doors that don't make sense. Faith builds when there's no blueprint. Faith says, even if I can't trace God, I still trust God, and that's exactly what He's teaching you right now. You've depended too long on confirmation that looks safe, but God is calling you into obedience that requires courage. He's saying move even if your voice shakes. Apply. Even if you're afraid of rejection, love again, even after heartbreak. Forgive even when they don't apologize, because when you start living by faith, your emotions stop controlling your destiny. You stop letting anxiety dictate your decisions. You stop letting fear edit your story. You stop waiting for the feeling and start following the Father. Some of you are waiting for a sign when God already gave you a word. You're praying for reassurance when He's waiting for obedience. Faith means moving on His word, even when your feelings are screaming no. Because faith isn't built on comfort, it's built on conviction. The truth is, feelings lie. They tell you you're not enough. They tell you it's too late. They tell you you failed too much for God to use you. But faith reminds you that your story isn't over until God says it is. This season, God is training your faith like a muscle. Every delay, every disappointment, every closed door, it's resistance training. It's God stretching your capacity to trust Him beyond what you can see. He's breaking the habit of emotional dependency and building the discipline of spiritual maturity. So when the next test comes, you won't fold. You'll remember how you stood before when everything said quit. You'll move with confidence, knowing that obedience brings clarity, because revelation follows movement. The enemy wants you to overthink what God already confirmed, but this time, you're not overthinking. You're overflowing with trust. This time you'll move even when you don't have the whole picture, because faith doesn't need the full plan to walk in purpose. God is revealing your next move, and He's saying, don't. Wait until you feel brave. Move until you become brave. Don't wait for certainty. Walk in surrender, because the moment you take that step, heaven starts backing you, miracles start aligning, and the peace you were waiting for meets you in motion. You don't need another sign, you just need to start walking, because God's next move for you begins the moment you stop letting feelings lead your faith. Number 6, God is refining your character. To match your calling before God promotes you publicly, He perfects you privately. He's not withholding your next move, He's preparing you to handle it, because purpose without character becomes destruction. And God loves you too much to give you something that your heart can't yet sustain. This is the part nobody talks about, the behind-the-scenes refining, the stretching, the humbling, the testing of motives, the nights where you ask God why it's taking so long when you've been faithful, but He's not ignoring you. He's investing in you. He's sharpening your integrity. He's burning away pride that could poison your progress. He's breaking the need to prove yourself so that when He elevates you, you'll carry grace, not ego. Right now, you're being shaped for sustainability because it's not hard for God to bless you. The question is, can you stay blessed? Can you handle success without losing humility? Can you influence people without forgetting compassion? Can you walk in authority without arrogance? That's why He's taking His time. That's why the doors are opening slowly. He's aligning your character with the capacity He's about to trust you with. He's teaching you discipline when no one's watching. He's teaching you excellence when there's no applause. He's teaching you to be consistent even when no one's clapping, because consistency builds credibility, and credibility opens doors, that charisma. The refining process is uncomfortable because it exposes what still needs healing. It shows you the impatience, the bitterness, the self-doubt, the jealousy, the comparison. He's not exposing it to shame you. He's exposing it to free you. God is saying, I can't take you into the next move, carrying the same habits that hurt you in the last one. I need you healed, not just hyped, grounded, not just gifted, because calling without character can't carry glory. So He lets pressure reveal what pride tries to hide. He lets delay develop what desire can't. He lets the waiting test the weight of your humility. This is where He builds spiritual maturity. When you can celebrate someone else's win while waiting on your own, when you can obey Him even when the outcome looks unfair, when you can forgive people who tried to sabotage your peace, that's when your heart is ready for promotion. You're not being overlooked, you're being overhauled. God is working under the surface. Every time you choose patience over panic, you pass the test. Every time you choose grace over gossip, you level up. Every time you choose obedience over opportunity, you prove you're trustworthy. Character is what keeps the door open after favor gets you. And that's why God is refining you right now, because the next move isn't just about arriving, it's about lasting. When the refining is complete, you'll walk in rooms that once intimidated you and feel peace instead of pressure. You'll speak with authority instead of insecurity, because your character will match your calling, and when that alignment happens, nothing can shake you. You're being polished, not punished, prepared, not passed over. This fire you're in is forming the strength you'll need to carry the next move, and when you come out, you won't just shine, you'll be solid. Number 7. God is positioning you for purposeful impact. This is the season where everything you've endured starts making sense. All the waiting, all the stretching, all the refining. It wasn't random, it was positioning. You thought God was delaying you, but He was developing you. You thought you were behind, but He was building a foundation deep enough to handle what's about to come. Because when God reveals your next move, it's never just about you. It's about who will be healed through you. Every storm you survived carries instruction for someone else. Every heartbreak that didn't destroy you holds wisdom that will set another soul free. Every time you thought you lost it all, you gained spiritual authority to speak to the same kind of pain in others. This is how God multiplies meaning out of what once felt meaningless. You've been hidden for a reason, not because you're forgotten, but because you're being prepared for visibility that demands maturity. God doesn't send His soldiers into battle without training. He doesn't release voices into influence without depth. So while you've been in the shadows, He's been teaching you how to stand in the light without losing your integrity. This next move isn't about chasing platforms. It's about carrying presence. It's about being the kind of person whose life speaks louder than their words. It's about walking into rooms and shifting atmospheres because you know who sent you. You're not walking in ego. You're walking in assignment. God is positioning you in places that your old self never would have fit, places that require healed hearts and steady spirits. And He's about to use your life as proof that obedience still pays off, that purity still has power, that staying faithful still leads to favor. Every delay was divine. Every detour was direction. Every disappointment was disguised development. Because now you carry perspective. Now you see what matters. Now you understand the difference between attention and anointing. He's positioning you in environments where your authenticity will be your influence, where you won't have to chase opportunities. They'll start finding you because heaven promotes what humility protects, and when you're ready to give God glory through what He gives you, He can trust you with more. This move is not about survival anymore. It's about service. You're being positioned to pour, to lead with love, to bring light into dark. A place is to speak healing into broken hearts. Your story is about to become someone else's strategy, so don't fear the spotlight. You were made for this, not for fame but for fruit, not for applause but for impact, not for recognition but for revelation. God is positioning you to walk in influence that reflects His image. And the reason you had to go through so much pain is because you carry a purpose that demands depth. Surface-level people can't carry what you're about to release. You had to be crushed so that compassion could overflow. You had to be broken so that others could be built. This is your moment. The pieces are aligning. The preparation has met the promise. And heaven is saying, now you're ready. You're not who you were. You're who I formed in the fire. Now walk in it, because God is revealing your next move. And this time, it's not just for you, it's through you. Take a breath. You made it through the silence, through the separation, through the refining, through every hidden season that tried to convince you it was over, but it wasn't over. It was construction. Now you stand at the edge of something new, and you can feel it. You can sense that heaven is shifting things in your favor. That's not imagination, that's confirmation. God is revealing your next move. And everything you've walked through was training for this moment. This is where clarity meets courage, where faith replaces fear, where obedience opens what effort never could. So right now, lift your head, shake off the doubt, and decide that you're not going back. You're stepping into what's next with boldness, because you finally understand. Every ending was an entrance, every loss was leverage, every delay was direction. And before we close, I want to speak straight to your spirit. You're not forgotten, you're not behind, you're right on schedule. Everything that was taken is about to make sense. Everything that felt wasted is about to work together for your good. If this message spoke to you, if something inside of you said, "This was for me," I want you to do two things. First, hit that subscribe button to Daily Motivation Prayers. Join this family. We're growing together every week in faith, love, and purpose. We don't just talk about God here, we walk with Him. Second, drop a super thanks down below. Not as a transaction, but as an act of faith. A seed of gratitude saying, God, I receive this word, because when you respond to revelation, you activate manifestation. I love you, I'm proud of you, and I'm standing with you as you take this next step. God is revealing your next move, and you're ready for it. Now go walk in it. Amen.